threat across the globe. The virus harms the immune system by attacking and destroying a type of white blood cells that helps fight infections, impeding the body's ability to stay healthy and fight off infections effectively, leaving the body with a compromised immune system. Today is World AIDS Day. It's commemorated every 1st of December globally, and every year there's a different theme around World AIDS Day, and this year's theme is End Inequalities, End AIDS, and Pandemics. But obviously, we are facing another pandemic as a country, and the numbers are forever increasing. Joining me on the line is Faghmeda Miller, who is an HIV/AIDS activist and the first Muslim woman to disclose her status, here to discuss why we are not winning as a country. Assalamu alaikum, Faghmeda. Shukran for joining me.
Wa alaikum salam. Shukran for having me.
Alhamdulillah. So with 7.5 million people living with HIV, 200,000 new infections, and 72,000 AIDS-related deaths, what are the contributing factors to these high numbers?
I think mainly, that is my opinion, but I think unfortunately, although it's been 40 years that we are dealing with HIV, stigma unfortunately still plays a major role in the fight against HIV and AIDS. People are too afraid to come out and say openly, you know what, I'm HIV positive, because people will stigmatize them. So instead of, even if though they keep quiet, just go to the clinic to get medications, they don't want to do that because people will see them taking the antiretrovirals and people will start talking. And yeah, so that, like I say, that is just my opinion that stigma still plays a major role in this pandemic.
Why is South Africa with the most extensive why is South Africa with the most extensive antiretroviral treatment program in the world not winning the war against HIV and AIDS?
Look, like I say, maybe once again from my experience, people once they take the medication, within the space of, I would say, 1 month, your viral load becomes undetectable, but it doesn't mean that you no longer have HIV. But people now think because they feel good, they feel healthy, they can just stop the medication. And that is when the problem comes, because now they no longer take the ARVs, and according to them, they have been cured. And I think also counseling needs to be implemented here, because people don't really understand why and when you must take the ARVs. So like I say, they take the medication, they feel fine, they no longer take it because according to them, why must they take it? They feel okay. Unfortunately, ARVs is something which you need to take for the rest of your life. You cannot just take it tonight and tomorrow night you say, I'm not going to take my medication. It's a lifelong commitment. And that is why people default, because they don't take the medication. And now, months later, they get sick again, they go back to the clinic, and now the doctor has to find, I would say, like a different type of ARV to suit that person. And you must know in South Africa, we don't have much of a choice or variety of ARVs. So once you default, it's very difficult for a doctor to find a different type of ARV that can suit you. Look, I'm not a medical expert here. I'm just speaking from experience and from what I have seen going on and from what happened to my clients even. And it's really sad to think that, like you say, we have access to ARVs, but people don't make use of it. Okay?
And there is no known cure for HIV and AIDS. I mean, we know this, so it would be dumb for one not to continue taking their medication just because they feel fine today or they've been feeling fine for 2 days or so. So, at least to be on the safe side, continue taking your medication. The HIV prevalence among young women is nearly 4 times greater than that of young men. How can we decrease these numbers? And, the women are the ones getting more infected. I mean, in one village in KZN, 60% of women are infected with HIV.
Look, I hear what you are saying, but
Mm-hmm.
most men don't really go to the clinic. They don't really have a percentage of men that are infected. So they will just say, it's women that are more infected than the men. But believe me, there are so many men as well that are infected with HIV. Men don't attend clinics, so we don't
Mm-hmm.
have that numbers. But also, again, like I say, I cannot see that in today's age and time that people can still get infected with HIV. I mean, we've come a long way with education, teaching people how not to get infected. But it's like, people still have that notion, it's not going to happen to me. If I look at
Yes.
you, you look at me, we look healthy. We cannot see HIV. And I think that is where the bigger problem comes in. You only know if that person is HIV positive once that person has tested for HIV. And that is why it is so important that once you start, I would say, a relationship with someone, yeah, you don't have to declare your HIV status right enough. It is your choice. But but be careful because, like I say, you cannot see HIV. Go and
Mm-hmm.
test yourself rather than on a regular basis so that you can know your own HIV status. And again, like I say, there are so many campaigns going around. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I'm basically almost, I would say, almost giving up because
Mm-hmm.
people are not listening. I myself, I've been living with HIV for 27 years. I've come a long way. I've seen it all. And it's like, you get tired. You get, I would say, age fatigue because people
Mm-hmm.
just don't listen. No matter how much you tell them, it's really out there. It's real. It's not a myth. HIV is real. Now people will turn it around, throw it back at me, and they will say, but look at you. You just said now you have been infected for so long. You don't even look ill. But that is exactly my point. I don't look ill because I take care of myself. I take my antiretroviral. I eat healthily. I do my exercise. Those kind of things. But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, I will say that it's your choice whether you want to live or you want to die with HIV. And because there's no cure, you need to take care of yourself. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
who would not want to live healthily? You don't want to die now. There's so much to live for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
And when it comes to the stigma, as you mentioned earlier, this is a big problem, especially amongst the Muslim community. Are people afraid to go and get tested, or they're afraid of what people are going to say instead?
I, yeah, I think it's more case of, how did you get infected with HIV? Because
Yeah.
people judge you on that. Again, I'm using myself as an example.
Mm-hmm.
When I got infected 27 years ago, I was rejected. I was shunned even by my own family, friends, even the ulama, they rejected me. Because, I just came out and I stated that I am so and so and I'm HIV positive. I never
Yeah.
really explained how I became infected with the virus. It's
Mm-hmm.
only later on that I kind of disclosed that I was married when I contracted HIV. And at the time of my marriage, I did not know that my husband was infected because you must remember this was 1994. People
Mm-hmm.
didn't even talk about HIV, let alone go and test for HIV. So, yeah, so then I disclosed that, I was married. And then only people started to support me, which I also think was, confusing and unfair. But like I say, they based you on how you got infected with HIV. Now they say because I was married, that's fine. I need to be supported. But what about the innocent person out there, a person that maybe got raped and now they are infected with HIV? What about a baby being born with HIV? How are you going to support them? So once again, it's really a sad thing. And even my clients will tell me, Faghmeda, it's okay for you to come open and say, yeah, that you are, living with HIV. But because of the way they got infected with the virus, having extramarital affairs and, those kind of things, they can come openly say, that they are infected. And I hear what they're saying. So all I can do, I can only support them. Yeah.
So basically, it comes down to also re-educating the people and to let them know that there are many ways of getting HIV, and it's not just through one means. And like you said, you were married when you had HIV, and you had no idea that you would get HIV. I mean, that's what we all think. We don't know how we're going to get HIV. We just hope and we live with the hope that it's not going to happen to us. But what are we going to do when it does happen to us? We need to have a way forward.
Yeah. And I don't understand why community must shunt you because of HIV. I mean, look at COVID now. It's basically the same thing all over again. People stigmatize you because you have COVID. People don't want to be associated with you because you had COVID. And even in my own family, it happened. One of my family members died of COVID. And for me, it was like the same story all over again. Nobody wanted to go to the house because of the COVID-19. So yeah, it comes down to education. Yeah.
Right, Faghmeda, we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, I'd like to talk about how HIV affects a person mentally, and you can speak from your experience and with your clients, but please stay with us.
Okay.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's have now reopened on 235 Matthews Maiwa Road in Durban. Head on over for the Taste with Kick. We offer something scrumptious for everyone in the family. Wraps, chicken tikka, burgers, tender grills, mocktails, milkshakes, and so much more. Corporate and events catering available. Visit our social media pages for more info or call 031 209 0119. Kiki's, the Taste with Kick.
Little bare feet on the icy wet ground, a shiver at his lips, mud on his clothes. When he is cold, the hunger is worse, the nights are longer, and the pain is more severe. What if this was your child? The Al-Imdad Foundation's Global Winter Appeal allows you to make a difference for refugees, IDPs, and struggling communities in 21 countries globally. Sponsor a winter pack today for just 600 Rand. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243.
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world, where institutions held the all-important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain development company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Your act of love gives hope. Islamic Relief supports orphans and vulnerable children in 28 countries with food, education, and medical care. There are more than 150 million orphans in the world. You can give hope to one. Sponsor an orphan today. go to www.islamic-relief.org.za.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
18 minutes past 11, you are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Salam Media. Why are we not winning the fight against HIV and AIDS as a country? That is a topic of discussion today. If you have any comments or questions, please send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061-766-0355. Alternatively, you can leave the comments in the comment section below on Facebook. My guest for today is Faghmeda Miller, who is an HIV/AIDS activist and also the first Muslim woman to disclose her status. And as Faghmeda mentioned earlier, she was stigmatized, and she only later got support from people after finding out how she got the HIV virus. And that's one of the reasons why we're not winning, the stigma, people being afraid to get tested, people being afraid to tell their families and friends. Well, you don't have to tell, but at least if you know your status and you start taking medication, then you are on the right track. Faghmeda, shukran for staying on the line. Now, when it comes to mentally, how does HIV affect a person mentally?
Look, once again, like I say, being stigmatized, it really, I would say it really gets to you. You kind of, you want to give up because you have no support. That is why I always tell people, when someone is close to you and tell you that, I'm HIV positive, don't question that person further by asking, how did you got infected with the virus? That is not important. But what is important is for you to support that person. Just make sure that that person knows that they are not alone, that you are there for them. And for anything, you just want to support them. Because again, I can, take it from my own experience. I wanted to give up because I had no support at the beginning. And it's only, I would say, a few weeks later that my own immediate family realized that, I'm kind of, getting more sicker because nobody is supporting me. And then only they supported me. So yeah, mentally it can affect you big time. You want to give up, you don't want to live anymore. And yeah, that's just how I felt back then. Like I say, today you no longer have to be in isolation. Everything is in place for you. You can go to any clinic. There is an HIV/AIDS support group. There's counselors that can help you. It's out there. But once again, people don't want to make use of it, again, because of the stigma attached to it. And that is why I'm extremely busy. Because people come to me, they will call me, they will WhatsApp me, they need help. They are too afraid to go to the clinic. They are too afraid to go and get the medication. So I try my best to help people. But like I say, at the end of the day, I'm not a medical expert. I'm just another person living with HIV, and I get tired also. And it affects me also mentally because I have to carry all their burdens, They tell me their stories, and which I don't mind. But like I say, it burns you out. Really, it burns you out. So
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm actually at the point where I no longer do public talks and stuff like that. I'm only doing this favor for Salam Media because, Muslims have to hear about HIV and AIDS. But other than that, I no longer do talks. I basically kind of retired. I will only help people via WhatsApp and calls, but I no longer go out to help people because I am exhausted in the field of HIV.
No, Alhamdulillah, we really appreciate you taking out the time to come and chat to us, especially on this day being a World AIDS Day. And the Muslim community needs to know about HIV and AIDS. And we need to stop hiding and pretending that it does not exist, because it does exist. And the more we speak about it, the more people will be comfortable to come out and share their stories and to be
Yeah.
brave enough to say that I am HIV positive and this is my story. So we do really appreciate you chatting to us. Now, the goal is is for South Africa to achieve zero new HIV infections in the next 8 years, 2030. Can it be achievable?
Wow, that's a big question because unfortunately it could have been achieved, but because of COVID now, there's a lot of restrictions in place, and people are now rather concentrating on COVID instead of HIV. So what happened now? The shift actually happened that there are now more people infected with HIV because, like I say, there was no longer education and information going out there. Just last night, because I could not sleep, I was open up Google and I started to read about HIV again. And I realized it's almost like we now have to start all over again with education and stuff. Because sadly, so many people got infected in the short period of time where COVID happened. So yeah, I really don't know if we ever going to reach that total that you spoke about now. But I really don't believe so. Yeah.
All right. I really hope that we do improve somewhere, somehow, because we do know that COVID is here to stay with us for, who knows, maybe the next 10, 20 years. And with the new variant, we have a long way to go. We're dealing with
Oh,
HIV and AIDS, we're dealing with COVID, we're dealing with gender-based violence. Wow,
yeah.
it's a lot. All right, Faghmeda, shukran so much for your time. But final thoughts and some takeaway points for our listeners.
All I can ask the listeners out there, if someone comes to you, disclosing the HIV status, do not reject that person. It's very important that that person knows that there is support. Even if you just go to that person to the clinic, with the person to the clinic for their medication, or even go on their behalf to the clinic, get their medication. Just support that person. I mean, you don't know what that person's already going through at home, being maybe rejected or, being shunned. So just support. And for the rest of the listeners out there, go and test yourself. Know your status. It's very, very important because once you know your status, if you are infected, that's not the end of the road. You can get medication. Remember, HIV is not a cure. There's no cure, but it's manageable. Again, like I say, you can live long with the virus if you take your medication, take it on a regular basis, and just, live your life. That's all. Shukran for you people out there for always listening to me. And I almost feel like part of the family there already at your station. But yeah, Jazakallah for having me once again. Okay.
Afwan, and have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Faghmeda Miller on the line, taking us through why we are not winning as a country in this fight against HIV and AIDS. One of the reasons being a stigma, another one being lack of support, and obviously education being one of the biggest reasons, especially amongst the Muslim community. We cannot pretend that HIV and AIDS does not exist. We cannot pretend that they aren't infected Muslims, and either way, we all know someone who has the HIV virus and they are living with it and they are doing just fine. So if you know someone who is infected and they come to you and they confide in you, like Faghmeda said, don't shun them. Give them the support and the assistance that they may need, because this is new to them as well. just as it is new to you, it's new to them. And put yourself in their shoes as well. It could happen to you tomorrow. We don't know how. Well, we don't know what's going to happen to us the next day, and everything has been decreed and has been written by Allah. So, you know, you can only do so much, and the rest, you know, has already been written. So, offer your supports if you can, and get educated. You do not have to be an activist to do something good for someone or for your community. Just get educated and put the word out there that, you know, this is real. We can't put it aside just because we're dealing with another pandemic with the COVID virus. So let us educate ourselves about HIV. Let us break the stigma and also offer support to the victims, or the patients rather. It is 11:28. You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Salam Media. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.